This is Catherine from the Brown Bag Teacher, and today I wanted to stop by and share with you a strategy we use in first grade and school-wide for teaching paragraph structure. In the spring, it's this really exciting time in first and second grade because we've been writing all year and learning how to expand moments and write on the lines and how to write letters and how to do procedural writing. And then comes this moment where we introduce paragraph writing. And it's real world and it's what adults do. And I used to teach fifth grade, and I always tell my first graders, when I taught fifth grade, I taught my fifth graders how to write paragraphs, and you're going to be doing that too. And it's just this really exciting moment. Common Core asks that first graders be able to introduce a topic, provide a detail and explain it, and then provide some sense of closure. And so today I wanted to share with you just how we teach the structure. So there are lots of mini lessons for details and wrapping up creatively and introducing a paragraph in different ways. But today I just want to focus on the structure. So the very first few mini lessons. All year, hopefully, we've been reading fabulous nonfiction texts. And so students are used to reading National Geographic and Reading A to Z and all of those really great informational texts where they are seeing that main idea followed by details and examples. So it's not foreign to them and it's real world. And so I just wanted to share with you what our structure looks like. And so we do use we use lots of kinesthetic movement at our school. And so our paragraphs look like this. We know that a paragraph is a block of text. So a chunk of sentences that are teaching or communicating an idea to a reader. And so we have our paragraph. And when we start a paragraph, we're always going to indent. Okay, so we indent the main idea. Now, if you didn't know, that main idea is a cloud. So, because everything under the main idea comes from the cloud or the main idea. So, if you have rain or sleet or hail, it always comes from the clouds. And you can't have precipitation that doesn't start in the clouds. And so, anything in your paragraph has to come from your main idea. It has to fit. It has to make sense. And so you have to include a main idea or nothing else can come in your paragraph. And so we have our main idea, then we have a detail example. And so your example comes from your detail. And then we wrap it all up. Now, the wrap-up sentence is the same thing as a conclusion sentence or concluding sentence. And so we want to make sure our students are really flexible in that thinking. So because although we call it a wrap-up sentence because it fits really well in our wrap it all up, other grade levels and other schools may not call that. We want students to understand that there can be multiple names for something. And so just be aware of that. And so when you put a paragraph all together, it looks like this. Paragraph, indent, the main idea. Detail, example, wrap it all up. And so that's a very basic paragraph structure. In first grade, it would sound something like this. Animals in the Arctic have to stay warm. The polar bear stays warm using blubber. Blubber is a thick layer of fat. This is one way that the polar bear stays warm in the Arctic. So it's a very basic paragraph. But in first grade, students should be able to do that independently, and they can. Within a week, 10 days, students are ready, though, to expand that. And they want to add more to their writing, and you want them to add more to their writing. So rather than just talking about the polar bear, let's introduce a second animal in the Arctic and how they stay warm. And so that structure looks very similar. Okay, when we're introducing that, you need to introduce rewind. And so like a VCR, rewind. Now students don't know what rewind is and they don't know what a VCR is. And so you're going to have to teach that ahead of time. And so your paragraph with two details or two examples looks like this. It says paragraph, indent, the main idea, detail, example, detail, example, wrap it all up. And so that would be a paragraph with two details and two examples. Now, the great thing about this basic paragraph structure is that it can be applied to different types of paragraphs. So it can be applied to compare and contrast, to opinion. And so this is what it would look like. So after our basic paragraphs, we actually head into compare and contrast writing. And it's so exciting. And you're using that same format as the two details and two examples because one detail is a similarity and one detail is a difference. And so it looks like this. Paragraph, indent, the main idea. similarity, example, difference, example, wrap it all up. And so that's a very basic compare and contrast paragraph, but students can do it, and that's really exciting. And then opinion is very similar. So paragraph, indent, the main idea, reason, example, wrap it all up. And you can always add in a second reason and a second example. And so it's really neat to see students, as they're writing, use these visual and kinesthetic cues. And so they'll be writing, they'll be like, oh, I need to indent, and they'll write, and they'll be like, oh, where's my wrap-up sentence? And it's really great, too, when I'm conferring with a student, so we can actually go through the paragraph. So I can say, okay, let's explore your paragraph. I see that you've indented the main idea, which is awesome. We have a detail, but then we go straight to wrap up. So what are we missing? We're missing that second hand. They're like, oh, I need to add an example or explain my idea, which is great, because then I'm not telling the kids, but they're discovering themselves, and they have that scaffold of the kinesthetic movements. Now, with each of these movements, our school has assigned colors. And so as we're paragraph writing, we're still learning the structure, students will underline the parts of the paragraph in different colors. And so our main idea and our wrap-up sentence are the same color, and we make those red. Because when you're wrapping up, you are basically doing the same thing as your main idea. You're telling your reader what they've learned about and what your paragraph is all about. And so we use red, and then for our details or our reasons or our similarities or differences, we use blue. And then for our examples, we use green. And it's great because we use these colors K through 6. And so whether you are in first grade or you're in 5th grade, you're going to be using the same color. So it creates great consistency among all the grade levels, and it makes it an easier transition. Also, it's a really visual way to say, ooh, I'm missing a part. So in first grade, we might just include 2 details and 2 examples, so 2 blues and 2 greens, whereas in 5th grade, you're going to have a lot more. So you might have 3 or 4 main ideas, and you're going to have 3 or 4 details per paragraph, but still, the colors remain the same. And so I hope this video has given you a different strategy or a different way of thinking about paragraph structure, or a different way to introduce it to your students. So if you're on YouTube, I've linked some of my favorite writing resources below. If you're on my blog, keep on reading, and happy writing. Thanks so much for joining.